pitch through the championship game right here on the Big 10 Network and the Fox Sports app. We are in championship season as we take a look at the points for the second eights.
Incredibly close race coming out of the heats into this one. So again, point distribution, if you win first place here in the second eights, you gain 66 points for your team, but a 6-point overlap with then the next second place. Second eights, the last three winners of this event, Michigan, Ohio State, and Michigan, very competitive. A lot of times championships are made in this boat class.
All right, let's send it over to Mandy.
Here we've got the grand final of the second varsity eights. As I said earlier, each race gets more intense. The points go up. The rowing gets better. Speed gets faster. As we see, we're touching it here. You can see the crews. Coxswains want their bow to be heading in a certain direction before the start. Once their blades are all squared and in, you can see Indiana looks ready here. Lane 1, Michigan lane 2, Washington lane 3, Rutgers 4, Minnesota 5, and USC 6. And we're off. Nice, clean start by everybody. You can see the fierce battle right out of the gates here for the lead. Michigan is getting in the lead here off the start. Nice impulse, nice lightness to the hull that we're seeing. Looks good here. Indiana's right there. Washington, I mean, everybody's right there. You can see it. Look at the intensity of this USC crew. And Minnesota right there as well. Just see how quick the legs are going down and they're bringing the handle in. Look at that overview. What a beautiful shot. A lot of boats in contact at this point. They should be at this grand final. And it's hard to tell who's in the lead. It's so close. I think Michigan's slightly ahead. Washington's moving into the lead by a bow ball. You've got Rutgers right there. They could use a victory here if they want to stay in contention. Michigan is right there as well. You can see the timing compared to some of the earlier crews. These crews have a lot more miles behind them. Washington is starting to take the lead out. Their bow is on the bow ball of Rutgers. You know Rutgers, they don't like to let that happen. They're going to make a move. The coxswain's looking over at Washington. She's making a call here. Michigan is just coming. Washington's moving away from Michigan at this point. They're still in contact, so they're not out of it, but that was a pretty big move the last 200 meters. And then you have Rutgers right there trying to hold on to Washington. They want to be in this race. The water looks really nice at this point for them. All these crews, you got Washington, Rutgers, Michigan. I can see Minnesota on the far side looking strong. Good water. Washington with every stroke. Their coxswain is almost on the bow seat of Rutgers. Rutgers trying to take a move. And they're holding them, so it stopped the momentum of Washington, but Washington still has a lead. Check out the send of the Washington boat after the release of the blades. Looks good, looks effective. That's it. You gotta like the handle acceleration across the board. They're pushing their lead out even more. Michigan's holding on to Rutgers. Minnesota right there. And Indiana is still in contact with Michigan. Here's a great shoe of the Huskies. Look at the catches there. Nice and precise, definitive, and effective. That's it. You got to love the energy there. You got to love the energy. Here we go. Great side view. Rutgers is trying to move back on Washington. Michigan is trying to hold off the Rutgers move. God, that water looks good up there. They're having a great row. Washington trying so hard to get open water. They are about a half a foot away from open water. Will they do it in the next 10 strokes? Will the coxswain make that call? Rutgers has moved on Michigan. Now it's bow to stern between those two crews. Indiana is ahead of Minnesota and USC, and they're charging towards Michigan. Now Washington has open water. It's a couple inches, but it's open water, and they know it. That is the greatest feeling as a rower. You have broke contact with the crews at the hardest part of the race, bringing you that motivational aspect. Now, Rutgers, what are they going to do with Michigan? What are they going to do? They're going to hold on. They're going to make a move. We're looking for it. We will see. Washington continue to pull away. You can see it from this view. They've got that open water. Michigan trying to keep their bow into the stern deck of Rutgers. Rutgers has a lot of great energy, so it's going to be tough for Michigan, but they haven't folded before. They know how to race. They got to put it together. We saw it in the last race. You got to put it together for the entire 2,000 meters. Washington maintaining the lead as they head into the last 500. This, again, is a great part of the race. You know it's going to be over. You know you get to shift up. You know you get to try and make some moves. You got Rutgers ahead of Michigan. You got Michigan ahead of Indiana. Washington continue with a commanding lead. You got the teammates running to the end of the docks to cheer them on. Washington's just ever so slightly moving farther away from Rutgers, really making a definitive and commanding statement here, just like their other teammates. There's some crews cheering on their team. Rutgers trying to move back in. They're not going to have enough room, it doesn't look like. But again, you've got to finish the race clean and together. Oars off the water. You can see them all doing it. What will Michigan do? Can they move back on Rutgers? Boy, Washington is looking long and strong, and they should. They're second in the country. That's right, second in the country. We've got 7 crews ranked in the top 25. That bodes well for this conference. Washington, clearly you can see why they're second. They're moving. They're powerful. They're strong. Looking great here in the last 10 strokes. Rutgers trying to bring it up. Michigan trying to move on them. And you've got your champions, Washington, second place finish, and they're fired up. Look at that, Rutgers finishing strong. Here comes Michigan, and then you got Indiana fighting off USC and Minnesota. Here we go for 4th place. It's going to be Indiana just slightly ahead of USC, which is slightly ahead of Minnesota. Which, when you look at the times from the heats, that's about what it looked like. Really great racing. Fun to see that Washington crew celebrate. And the water, I think, has gotten better.
Fantastic race down to the line there for the 4th place in this event, but the Washington Huskies taking away yet another win here in the second eights Big 10 champions. Really, really exciting to see how this is panning out for their first ever Big 10 championship.
The Washington Huskies, a 5-time national champ, also 5 times the runner-up. What an addition as Washington, UCLA, and USC come in, but the Huskies, a true power in this sport.
Absolutely. And all the way down the line, too, they're really taking the entire conference with them to being so competitive and having a great showing at the national championship in 2 weeks down in New Jersey, Lake Mercer. It's going to be an incredibly tight decision for the committee to decide tomorrow who they want to have from the Big 10 to move on into getting an at-large bid for the national championships from this conference. It's typically around 4 deep that they're going to send over the national championship, but it may just be 5 or 6 because this team spread is pretty good.
Yeah, Washington, I don't think there's any scenario right now where they won't win the Big 10 title. Something crazy has to happen. Otherwise, Washington in the driver's seat at 165, Rutgers at 149. By the way, second place would be Rutgers' best finish all time.
It's a really fantastic show out of Rutgers because they fell a little bit short of this place last year. They were really aiming for it and shooting for it, but it is well within their grasp here, and it's setting them up to be incredibly competitive for the next steps. They may be top 10 in the country with this performance this weekend.
The Huskies on the water, a special